What's going on, everybody? Welcome on in, guys. We are sitting here talking the Clippers versus Nuggets game number 7, all the marbles, who moves on to round 2, and who books their flight to Cancun. Riggs Tamburo, Bryson Owens, my man, looking here at this game. It is your Denver Nuggets, so I'm going to have to ask you, no bias here in this game right now, man. Nuggets, Clippers, you look at the line here, it is dead even for the most part. Nuggets at home are a 1.5 point favorite, minus 120 on the money line. But really, you're basically looking at a pick 'em. We've seen the Clippers go on the road and win. We've seen the Nuggets at home win. So this one could go a lot of different ways. Let's start with the X factors here really quick in this game. And I want to ask you about the Nuggets X factor. I'll go ahead and handle the Clippers. Who do you think is the key here, outside of Joker, I must say, to put the Nuggets over the top in this game?
I mean, there's a couple players you can go with. The obviously like low-hanging fruit ones are Joker, like you mentioned. You could bring up Jamal Murray, who he's kind of the biggest X factor every postseason for the Nuggets because he's historically one of the biggest playoff risers in NBA history. I think he raises his points per game by like 6 points per game. He raises his shooting percentage. Like everything Jamal does is better in the postseason. But I think that one's another too obvious one. I'm going to give you a little bit of an interesting one. I'll go Russell Westbrook is the biggest X factor for the Denver Nuggets in this game. Largely because Russ is a very emotional player. If you've watched a single Russell Westbrook game, you know he's an emotional guy. He feeds off the energy, he feeds off the crowd. I think this game right here is why those last 3 regular season games after Malone got fired were so important for the Denver Nuggets because they needed game 7 to be in Denver. If this was on the road, if they were going to LA for this game, I would not be nearly as confident because I wouldn't be able to trust Russ as much. I wouldn't be able to trust Michael Porter Jr. as much or Christian Brown as much. Like those are guys who I don't trust on the road, but I trust to play a big role at home. So Russell Westbrook, the ability to come off the bench and provide a spark. He's still one of the most athletic players in the league, even at his age, and his defense has been really good at times in this series. I think if Russ has a big game and he gets the crowd involved and he's kind of feeling it throughout the course of this game, that's going to be a really good sign for the Denver Nuggets because he's kind of the only playable guy off the bench.
Yes, absolutely. And you take a look here at game number 6. Joker obviously puts up 25 points, but you look at what Jamal did for the team. 8, 8, and 21 is a pretty damn good game there for Jamal Murray. Christian Braun putting up 14 points. Russ 14 points. Gordon 19 points, hitting his over 16.5 as well. And then Michael Porter Jr. kind of just crapped the bed there in that game number 6. And I also want to point out, looking at these stats, my man, the reason I'm concerned for your Denver Nuggets is this is what they just put up in a loss to the Clippers. And so I'm a little bit worried here, looking, saying, okay, is Gordon going to break 19 again? Is Jamal going to break 20? Is Braun going to break 14 again? I don't know if he's going to break 10 in game number 7. So the one guy I want to ask you about is Michael Porter Jr. with him falling short there in game 6. Are you confident in him returning here? And also, I think it's worth noting the first couple games of this series, he had some foul trouble, made a couple dumb mental errors and decisions. Do you trust him at this point, or do you think Denver is kind of looking to build around Michael Porter Jr. here in game 7 and then maybe focus on him again in round 2?
Mike is a really curious case here for the Denver Nuggets because obviously he's not healthy. He has a grade 2 AC joint sprain on his left shoulder. Like he can barely raise his arm above his left shoulder. So like he's playing very, very hurt. And to his credit, considering the injury, I think he's had a pretty solid series this last game notwithstanding. I think this is the important part about this game being in Denver. You look at Michael Porter Jr. this series, his best games have been in Denver, where he has the crowd behind him. He doesn't have the harassment of the LA crowd going against him, along with the injuries and the incredible defenders the Clippers have. So I think having the crowd on his side, being back at home is going to be huge for Mike. And I think the important thing that they need to do, the Nuggets that is they need to get Michael Porter Jr. a couple shots early. Mike is a guy who, if he's not involved right away in the game plan, he can kind of just fade off to the side. And that's what happened in this last game. It was so Jokic and Jamal centric to start the game that a guy like Michael Porter Jr. doesn't really have a role on the court. He's not a great defender, so you can't just ask him to defend well. He's not healthy, so he's not going to be rebounding well or being a great passer at the moment. So I think the important key is I think in the first 5 possessions, if you're the Denver Nuggets, I want 2 of those possessions to be Michael Porter Jr. shots. I want him to get 2 3-pointers up in the first 3 minutes of this game because I think that's going to be huge for his confidence and getting the crowd into the game early.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. I'll be interested, though, to see if they do that early because, in my opinion, I don't think that deep down they're counting on him to come out and make an impact in this game. But I think if he does make an impact in this game, if he can get to 10 points, I think they might have a good chance here in this one. But you look at game 6 here for the Clippers. Harden goes 6, 8, and 28. You got Leonard putting up 27 of his own and getting to double-digit rebounds. Powell puts up 24. Zubac, kind of a down game for him, 6, 0, and 10. I'm expecting a much bigger game for him here in game 7. And I will note, as important as it is for Kawhi and James to have a good game in this one, if they don't both break 25, I don't know if they're going to win this game. But for me, Zubac's got to be on. I think this dude's good for about 16 to 18 points in game number 7. Are you expecting this to be a key defensive point for the Denver Nuggets, is to keep this guy at 10 points again and give yourself a shot?
So actually, I think Denver would be more than happy with them just spamming Ivica Zubac points the entire night because that means Kawhi Leonard and James Harden aren't getting going. What happened in the last game was James Harden, who's had a pretty bad series in typical James Harden playoff fashion. James Harden got going early in game 6, and it never slowed down. And Denver just didn't have an answer for James Harden because he was able to get to his left hand. He was able to get into the paint for layups, and he had his step back 3 working. And so I think Denver's more than willing to allow Zubac to go for 20 points in this game. Because that means that's less shots for Kawhi, that's less shots for Norman Powell, that's less shots for James Harden. I think that the Nuggets are willing to give up those interior points to not have those kind of dagger threes happening behind the defense instead.
Fair enough. I'll be surprised if they give this guy free reign. I think letting this guy put up 17 to 18 points could be a big mistake for the Denver Nuggets. But I understand what you're saying. You'd rather have him be hot than one of the 2 guys from a little bit deeper out there dropping 30 racks on your head. That wouldn't be good either. We've seen multiple games so far. One of the 2 teams not even break 100 points in this series so far, 98 to 98 there before overtime. In the very first game, 112 to 110, Denver gets it done in overtime. So I got to ask you, my man, your final prediction for this game. Denver Nuggets minus 1.5 point favorite, minus 120 on the money line. Are you riding with your boys here, or does this have upset written all over it?
I have the Nuggets winning. Again, I think the biggest key for this is them being at home. I think that James Harden, who has historically not been great in closeout games, especially on the road in his career, this is a tough spot for him. The role players who are so good for LA in the first couple games of the series, they weren't who were really good for the Clippers, I should say, in the last game for the series. Guys like Bogdanovich, Batum, Powell hit a bunch of threes. Derrick Jones Jr. hit a couple late 3-pointers. I don't think those guys are going to be as confident shooting the ball because they don't have the LA crowd behind them. And I think that Denver is going to go back to what worked so well in game 5, which was not yet. I think they went too much. The Nuggets have to walk a fine line between being too Jokic-centric and letting Jokic be comfortable, but it being the Jamal Murray show. I think the Nuggets are at their best when Nikola Jokic is controlling the game, but it's Jamal Murray that is the scoring person on the floor. That's Jamal Murray who's the dominant alpha, if you want to say, for the Denver Nuggets. So I think they're going to make sure Jamal Murray gets 20 to 25 shots up, 10 plus 3-pointers. Like, they're going to make it Jamal Murray is going to be the reason they win or the reason they go home.
And for that reason, my man, I'm going to go against you in this one. It breaks my heart. I hope the Denver Nuggets, deep down, I'm pulling for the Denver Nuggets. I will be hoping that I lose money here in this game, but I'm going to go the other way. I just think the value here is with the Clippers, in my opinion, in more spurts than the Nuggets. I think they've just played a little bit better basketball, in my opinion, so far in this series. It's been really, really close. Like I said, we've seen overtimes. The home court advantage for the Nuggets is the reason I want to go Nuggets, but I kind of told myself, if we get to a game 7 in this series, I'm taking the dog. The dog here is the Clippers. I just can't leave plus money on the board. And Bryson, I'm going to turn it up a little bit, my man. I don't want the Clippers at plus 100. It's not good enough for me. I want the Clippers to win by 1 to 10 points at plus 225 here in this game. I also think it's worth noting, if you like the Nuggets to win, I still like that bet. Who wants minus 120? You can get plus 185 on Denver to get this done by 1 to 10. But my man, my final question for you here in this game, over under 206. A pretty even number here now that we've seen, once again, under 200. We've seen over 220, 206. Which way are you going?
Yeah, this number is really tough because if you look at it, only one game this series would have gone under 206 points, and that was game 2. The one where the Clippers won in Denver. That was the only game that would have been – oh, no, sorry, not even that game.
Well, to be fair, the 98-98 game very well could have been under the first game.
No, I was looking at the wrong score. That Clippers game was 105 to 102. The only game that went under was the Nuggets winning in LA when it was 101 to 99 when Aaron Gordon saved the day with his buzzer-beating dunk. That was the only game that would have gone under 206. So I'm going to have the over – happening in this game. It seems like, especially in Denver, it's been a little bit higher scoring output so far in this series. All three of the games so far in Denver has gone over 206 points. I think both teams are going to lay it all on the line. I think you're going to see Jokic play 44 minutes. I think you're going to see Kawhi Leonard play 40 plus, James Harden play 43 plus, Jamal Murray. I think they're going to leave it all on the floor here. So I'm going to go with the over on this one.
I'm going to once again go against you here. Look, guys, the Clippers only getting 35% of the money line bets to win, and the under is only getting 34% of the bets as well. So I'm just going to fade the public on both of these. And to be fair, Bryson, if you're on the Nuggets and I'm on the Clippers and you're on the over and I'm on the under, we can't miss, my brother. Everybody half y'all finna win. So we got that going for you. But I'm going to go under, and I hate to say it, Bryson, but I just think it's because I don't know if Gordon can go for 19 again. I don't really think Jamal Murray is going to be as hot as he needs to be here in this game. And on the other side, I do think either of these teams that are in the lead are going to really slow down the tempo here, try to get some of the big hot shooters to slow down a little bit. So for that reason, I'm going to go under the 206. But my man, any final words for you here? Your Denver Nuggets could be going home. Are you happy with where you're sitting?
Yeah, I think so. After everything that's happened this season with the amount of injuries the Nuggets have dealt with and the fact that they fired their head coach and GM right before the playoffs started, the fact that they took, at the time, the hottest team in the NBA outside of the Oklahoma City Thunder to 7 games. And this is a really good Clippers team, by the way. This isn't like a fluky – the Nuggets are getting upset. Like, it's not an 8th seed beating a 1 seed. This is a legit – both these teams are very good. Both these teams have competed really well. This has been a really fun series to watch. It's been the most fun series in the NBA so far this postseason. And so while I would obviously like the Nuggets to move on to the second round, given everything that's happened, if they don't, I'm not going to be calling this postseason a failure because they have a coach who's coached less than 10 games. He's on this will be his 10th game coaching in the NBA, and it's for a game 7. So I'm pretty happy with where the Nuggets were. I would have liked for them to have obviously closed out in 6. I think they can close out in 7. And then whoever does end up winning this series might just be a sacrificial lamb for the well-rested Oklahoma City Thunder, because I don't know if either of these teams can get past the Thunder in the second round.
I think you're right there, but I will say I know that you, in one way, have to be happy with how far they've come in the postseason and everything. But for me, you're the Denver Nuggets, brother. And I get that it's not the same situation as the Lakers, but I expect this team to go deeper than the first round. I don't care what happened with Mike Malone. I don't care what's going on with this guy or MPJ a little bit banged up or whatever it might be. For me, you have to win this basketball game. Like you mentioned, you won the last couple games. You got the home court advantage. You have who we believe is the best player on the planet. I don't think you can lose this game and not say, damn, we fell short. So I don't know, man. We'll see what happens here, guys. But good luck to everybody. Going to be a fun one. One more time, Denver Nuggets are home in this game here, going down Saturday, 9:35 p.m. Eastern time, 7:35 p.m. for all you guys out at Ball Arena in Denver. Enjoy the games. Rick Stamburo, Bryson Owens. This is Picking Winners. We'll see who goes on to round number 2.